Alright, Accumulation Nation, I have some explaining to do. I've been gone for over 100 days, and I know a lot of you are wondering, Silver Forever, where have you been? No, I'm not on the back of a milk carton. I've just been spending the last couple months moving across country, getting my life back together, and now we're ready to start filming videos and giving away more of that sweet, sweet, shiny silver. So stick around to see if you're the winner of that 5-ounce silver bar. And oh yeah, just because I feel kind of bad, I'm giving away a bunch of silver Libertads too, but that's not all. We have skyrocketed past 10,000 subscribers, and in celebration, I'm also giving away a 10-ounce Germania Mint silver bar on today's video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the top 5 types of silver you should be buying as a beginner silver stacker. First on the list are 1-ounce bullion coins. So let's break this down. What does bullion mean? Bullion is any kind of investment grade precious metal, in this case silver, something that's going to be basically pure. We're talking 3/9 fine, 4/9 fine, issued by a governing authority and has a denominated value. But of course, you're not buying the coin for that face value, you're really buying it for the inherent value of the precious metal inside. No, the real advantage of having a coin is that it is produced by a sovereign government. So they have an interest in not only ensuring its quality and its security, but preventing counterfeiters from producing similar coins. And that's the real advantage of buying bullion coins as a beginner. Now, the most popular types of silver bullion coins are going to be your American Silver Eagle, your Canadian Maple Leaf, the Australian Kangaroo, the United Kingdom's Silver Britannia, the Australian Philharmonic, and the South African Krugerrand.
Krugerrand.
Now, they're often going to be more expensive, have a higher premium than generic rounds, but the advantage is a little more certainty that a potential buyer down the road when you go to sell is going to recognize this as real silver. Now, I don't want to overstate this because there are still fakes out there of every one of these modern silver bullion coins. Although some of them have some amazing security features, I'm thinking of the Silver Britannia right now. Now, the American Silver Eagle for many of us in the United States seems like a good option. The real problem here is that the premiums are just outlandish over the past few years. But hey, the American Silver Eagle is still a very reliable option, and if you are a United States resident and you go to any local coin shop, you can bet your bottom dollar that they are going to buy those American Silver Eagles off of you. And they still are paying a pretty high premium if you're a knowledgeable seller and you know what kind of premiums you should be getting even on the sale. Now, you really got to make the best decision for yourself, but if it was me and I was a beginner, I would be looking at first, what is the most popular coin domestically in my country? So if you're in South Africa, it might really make sense to load up on Krugerrands first. Now, a lot of the more mature, seasoned stackers out there have a really good handle on what silver looks and feels like. But what I will say is for beginners, it's really nice to have a feeling of certainty about some of these coins. But the real thing that adds security to these coins is the fact that their governments have a vested interest in preventing their counterfeiting. Whereas something like a simple generic round could be easily faked and mislabeled as silver, and there's really no one to go after those culprits. Now, if you're interested in stacking silver bullion coins, if you're buying them as singletons, you're gonna pay a higher premium. Once you get into the tube size, which is 20 or 25 in some cases, you will start to see a slight reduction in the premium. So while many really seasoned stackers tend to move on to different forms of silver for stacking based on the lower premium, I will say that I think 1-ounce silver bullion coins are excellent options, especially for beginners. Moving on to number 2, 10-ounce silver bars. And the real question is, why are these some of the most desirable forms of physical silver for veteran stackers? A big part of this is that the premium is lower than if you were to buy 1-ounce generic rounds or 1-ounce bullion coins. So if you're just looking for bullion in a cheap format, oftentimes silver bars are the way to go. But if you're gonna buy a 1 ounce, you might as well get a coin or a round. I personally am not a fan of buying 1 ounce silver bars, and that's mostly just because they take up a lot of space and they're kind of awkward. If you're gonna be buying silver in the form of bars, you might as well go in at the 10 ounce size. For me personally, one of my favorite sizes is the kilo, and that's because I can save even more on premiums. But it hasn't traditionally been the most popular format or size increment in the United States. And when the price of silver gets up in the range of $30, now we're talking about $1,000 value for a single bar. Whereas one of these 10 ounce bars at $25 an ounce silver is around $250. So if you're looking for a healthy middle ground, it kind of makes sense to be in this happy middle ground of 10 ounces. And you'll find that many seasoned stackers really prefer this 10 ounce size as their go-to stacking option. Now, there are tons of 10 ounce silver bar options here. I'm showing you a ton on screen right now. And while variety is also kind of nice if you want to get into that collectible aspect of stacking silver, arguably the best advantage of getting 10 ounce silver bars is just consolidating your silver in a very small amount of space. There are bars that are meant to actually physically stack out there and to save even more space. And still many people love bars like the Royal Canadian Mint, these RCM 10 ounce bars. We don't have an equivalent in the United States, although many people are really wishing that the US Mint would produce their own 10 ounce bullion bars. You'll find that people often have their own preferences as to what kind of bar they want to stack. Other bars are a little bit more premium. If you're looking at this Britannia bar, it's a beautiful piece, but it's not going to be your best option in terms of low premium silver. And still, the most expensive 10 ounce bars that I've ever bought are these Beskar bars, and they're actually coins as well. I don't even want to get into the cost in terms of their premium there. Those are a semi-numismatic piece, not bought just for the purpose of stacking silver, but as a flipping opportunity. Are there really, really cheap, beaten up, old silver bars out there? Yes. Can you get them for the very bare bones cheapest price? Yes. But if you want a really high quality silver bar, these are cast bars, not just machine pressed. They have serial codes on them. They have these nice secure stickers with them, and I just think the look is absolutely beautiful. You gotta look into my favorite Germania Mint bars. Once again, folks, we have teamed up with PIMBEX to give away a 5 ounce silver bar on the last video, and today we're giving away a 10 ounce silver bar. So make sure you stick around to the end to figure out how you can enter for a chance to win this 10 ounce silver bar. And thanks once again, PIMBEX, for always looking out, supporting the channel, and offering some of the best silver prices online. But let's say today is not your day to win one of my epic silver giveaways here on Silver Forever. Well, then maybe you're looking to get the best of both worlds here between the 1 ounce bullion coins and the 10 ounce generic silver bars by maximizing the amount of silver in your stack with generic rounds. And the advantage here is that you still have the fractionality of the 1 ounce increment rather than the 10 ounce, but you also get the advantage of the low premium, which means that you get more physical in your hands for a lower total price in fiat. Now, it's so important to remember as a beginner that you're not just buying silver. You or someone you love is gonna have to sell this silver one day. And when you're buying physical silver, you have to pay a premium to get your hands on the stuff. So if you're spending that extra fiat to get that fancy semi-numismatic item, if you're not guaranteed to make that back on the sale, well, you've kind of wasted a bit of your money. So until you're really familiar with the market, what commands a premium on the sale side as well, I would recommend that most beginners try to keep their purchases in the low premium category, and that is where generic rounds come in. Now, one word of advice: if you don't have any kind of testing equipment, you need to be really confident in where you're buying your generic silver rounds. Your local coin shops are going to be pretty reliable options. The major online vendors are going to be the same. But you have to look out for some scams that might occur on places like Facebook Marketplace or Instagram or even eBay. Remind yourself, if a deal looks too good to be true, then it probably is. There is virtually no chance that you are going to find physical silver for sale at or below spot. So you have to be really, really conscious not to get in over your head as a beginner. If you're even worried about fakes at all, that's where those 1 ounce bullion coins come in. And best of luck with whatever you decide for yourself. Now, you can buy whole tubes of generic rounds from many dealers, or oftentimes a place like a local coin shop might just have a bunch of generic rounds sitting in a bin, and maybe you can pick and choose certain designs that you like. But keep in mind that when you go to sell generic rounds, you're very often just going to be paid for the 1 ounce physical piece of silver. In very few scenarios is any dealer going to care about the design on your generic rounds. So if you think it's cool to have a generic round collection like I do, well then that's great, but just don't put too much weight into that. In very few scenarios do these things hold any kind of collector value, and if they do, you're really only going to make that premium back if you sell privately online, for instance. When it comes to generic silver rounds, there's honestly only 2 things that matter. It needs to say 1 troy ounce, and it needs to say fine silver or 999 pure silver, something to that effect. And that brings up another point. Really, you're probably going to want to stay away from anything that is lower than pure silver. We're talking sterling rounds, potentially even lower purity than that, and just stay away from fractional silver rounds. It just doesn't make sense from a premium perspective for you to be buying pure silver in a fractional form. However, there is one form of fractional silver that I would recommend to all my United States viewers out there, and that is the next one, number 4, junk silver, or 90% constitutional American silver coins. If you want a really comprehensive overview, a beginner's guide to American junk silver, make sure to check out my highest performing video. The thing is well on its way to 1 million views, if you can believe it. But for now, let me just tell you why I think that junk silver is still a great option for beginner stackers, even though the premiums have gone through the roof over the past couple of years. If you are interested in having some form of fractional silver, this is the way to go. It used to be that across the world, almost every country used some form of silver in their coinage. And in the United States, this was 90% silver, dimes, quarters, half dollars, and even dollars, although that kind of is in a league of its own. Those are really not traded on the basis of their silver value anymore. They're almost always in a kind of numismatic category all their own in the case of Morgan and Peace dollars. And the same might be said for things that are as old as barber coinage. But if we're talking about Mercury dimes, my favorite coin, or Roosevelt dimes, Washington quarters, Standing Liberty quarters, Walking Liberty halves, Benjamin Franklin halves, Kennedy halves, these are all 90% silver coins. They are inherently fractional. They carry a lot of historic value that I really enjoy myself, and it's just a fun and easy and interesting and good way to have fractional silver in your stack that doesn't require you to blow your premiums out of the water like pure fractional silver does. Values can be a little hard to get a handle on, but in general, about $1.40 worth of face value in 90% constitutional coinage is going to be about 1 troy ounce. The other way to look at it is that $1 in face value is going to be about 0.72 troy ounces. Now, sometimes you can find numismatic coins in the junk bin, like this barber dime here, which is worth approximately $8 instead of its melt value, which is closer to $1 or $2. It's important to recognize that not all of the old coinage, things like these buffalo nickels, have silver at all. There were other forms of silver coinage at various times that were 40% purity in the case of Kennedy half dollars from 65 to 70, war nickels, which were during the 42 to 45 years where it was 35% silver. These are also going to be really low premium options that you can find online, but I would not recommend buying these. People sell them for such a low price for a reason. They're not desirable, they take up a lot of space, but in the case of 90% silver, I'm still interested. I have held back on my buying of 90% silver because the premiums have gone up so much recently, but back in the day, you could get this stuff close to spot. And it's a fractional. It's a great option for those of us who are a little bit more on the prepper stacker side of things, where we're thinking about a future where you could potentially barter this coinage. So this might be a controversial opinion, but I personally am still a big fan of 90% constitutional silver. I'm happy that I have some junk silver in the stack. Now, I will say there are some other pretty popular creators out there in our precious metals community, folks like 2is1, who are not the biggest fans of junk silver. I think the last time I heard him, he said it disgusted him. But I know that my number 5 choice will put a smile on his face, and that is because my number 5 best type of silver to stack for beginners is not even silver at all. It's gold. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. This is a beginner silver stacking video. How are you gonna put gold as one of the options? Well, I think it's actually an important point to make. A lot of us who get into silver stacking do so because we don't have a lot of faith in the US dollar, in that single fiat currency. So we're looking to diversify. But if you are only buying silver as your precious metals investment, then how much are you really diversifying into precious metals? Now, I'm not saying that you need to spend an even amount on platinum and palladium or anything like that. Those are a lot more speculative. But gold has traditionally been a much more rock solid form of precious metals investment. And while a lot of folks think gold is close to $2,000 an ounce, I can't afford that. Well, if you start looking at fractional gold like this 1/10 Eagle, there are other 1/10 ounce gold options like Britannia's out there right now that are easily selling for 10-15% premium, and that's lower than you're going to be spending on a 10-ounce silver bar, for instance. If you can get a 10-ounce bar for $250 right now, you can get one of these Britannias in the 1/10 ounce gold for $210. So we're talking about a lower amount of money and a lower premium to get exposure to another precious metal. So I'm not saying that you need to go 50-50 like me, and I'm certainly not saying that I think gold is better than silver on all fronts, but I do think that it's a smart play to have both silver and gold in your stack. Just be careful you're not spending a bunch of money stacking gold that's below 1/10 ounce, because that's also high premium. There are a lot of practical challenges to exclusively stacking silver. Primary among those is space and handling. If you want to be able to run out of the house one day with a fair amount of value in your pockets, you could throw a roll of gold coins in one pocket, or you could carry out a backpack and a suitcase full of silver. I know that that's a ridiculous scenario, but it's true. I mean, even just handling the stuff, moving it around your home, at a certain point, silver becomes truly cumbersome. There are also other issues, things like milk spotting that don't typically occur with gold coins. But don't get me wrong, there are several distinct advantages about having silver. And for me, the biggest potential advantage is the upside opportunity. I, for one, think that there is a much greater chance that silver will double or triple potentially in my lifetime, whereas I don't necessarily see that same chance with gold. But hey, I'm no financial advisor. I don't give financial advice. All I do is give away free silver to members of the Accumulation Nation. So folks, if you stuck around this long, well then you are in it to win it. Right now, we are going to announce the winner of the 5-ounce silver bar. I'm going to give away a silver Libertad and tell you where to find more free silver Libertads from Silver Forever. And I'm going to tell you how to enter in this video for your very own chance to win the next giveaway, a 10-ounce silver bar from the Germania Mint. So you remember that in the last video, you had to enter the word accumulate in the comments for your chance to win. So let's go ahead and pick some winners. The winner of the 5-ounce Germania Mint bar is... boom! Congratulations. I'm gonna send that 5-ounce bar your way, and we are giving away a 10-ounce bar after this next giveaway. I'm also gonna give away some silver Libertads. We're gonna give away one right now to this lucky viewer who also entered the word accumulate. Congratulations to you. And if you want a chance to win a Libertad, I'm gonna be giving them away on my Instagram channel. Yes, in case you didn't know, I also have an Instagram. I'll link it in the description below. But now, finally, for your chance to win the 10-ounce Germania Mint bar in celebration of our 10,000 subscriber milestone, you need to join the Accumulation Nation by hitting the subscribe button, hit that like button, and make sure that you remain a dedicated silver stacker by typing the word dedication into a comment down below. Make sure that it's spelled correctly because that's how the random comment picker works. And this is a heavy bar, so you've got to have a mailing address in the United States. For any of the other rules of this giveaway, check out the description down below. Make sure to keep showing that dedication as a silver stacker and member of the Accumulation Nation by watching this video right here. And until next time, Silver Forever, out.